What's up, guys? It's Matty here from DCLblogger.com. In this video, I wanted to go through some whale accounts in Decentraland. So the top 4 investors or the top 4 owners of lands within Decentraland. How much land do they own amongst themselves, and how much are their assets kind of valued at? And a really cool few images were posted by user JJ. He posted some images of a screenshot of the lands that the top 4 wallet holders have, and you can see there's quite a lot of land owned by some of these guys. Big quadrants that are dominated almost by a single landowner, like this one over here. And yeah, these are big chunks of land, and all of them combined, I would say, is a decent chunk of Decentraland. But even though they are whales, there's still plenty of land kind of owned by everyone else. So let's kind of go through their wallets and do a bit of an estimate as to what their lands can be worth. Mind you guys, with these estimates, I'm going very conservative. Like, the people, if they're watching this video and they're looking at their wallet address and they're seeing the valuations I'm giving them, they're probably like, whoa, that's way too low. But you know what? It's better to be conservative than to offshoot and give something that we think it's going to be. No, it's what it is now. Like, if they wanted to sell their whole portfolio now, what is a likely price they could get for it? That's kind of what I'm going to go with. So let's go with the first one over here, which is this one. It's the smallest of the top 4. I think this is not the 4th largest whale. Maybe there's a bigger one than this, but this particular wallet is of interest because this is the wallet user we call Nessie. Now, Nessie came in sometime in September last year. I did a video going through some of the activities or the influence that he had within the Decentraland marketplace in my previous video. But in this video, we can see his wallet. He's got 545 lands. More than that, he's probably got about 600 lands. But Nessie is an interesting case because he is one of the only investors that have come in with such a large amount of money that invested well after the first auction. So, you know, in the first auction, you could get lands easily for 1,000 mana, right? I don't know how much that was in fiat, maybe $50, maybe $100 if mana was at 10 cents. But in September, the cheapest land you could get was 7,000 mana. So building a portfolio of this size of 600 parcels sometime in September meant that he was paying 5 to 6 times the amount that people were initially. And he didn't just buy any parcels. He bought lands in really good locations. You can see here he's got this nice piece of land here, pretty close to Center Genesis, connected to the road. It's a large estate. It is a bit of a weird shape, but nonetheless, it's a really nice estate. You have this land here, similar case on the east side of Decentraland, touching Dragon City. I think that is Dragon Kingdom. Yep, Dragon Kingdom's on the east side of Decentraland. You have this really big piece of land, 56 pieces of land. Both sides are connected by a road. It's pretty good over there as well. But he's also got a lot of parcels that he's kind of broken the estates down for some reason. Like this one was a 5x4, I believe. This is the ones that I sold to him, and I bought it off another user. So these ones he bought collectively for 1 million mana. There was 20 parcels over here, I believe, 5 times 4. There was like a little pocket over here. In this small pocket, they all sold for like 49,000 mana each. You can see here, this is my wallet address, ends at 7A. 49,000 mana each they sold for. 50,000 mana each. There's about 20 of them. So yeah, about 1 million mana that sold for. And then yeah, he's got estates everywhere. If you look at his image over here, this is his. Yeah, this is his. So he's got a nice big estate over here. He's got a small one over here. He's got some estates kind of scattered around the map, mostly on the southern side. He doesn't have much on the north side. In fact, he doesn't have anything. But he doesn't really have scattered parcels. He's invested in estates specifically. But he initially started buying a lot of scattered parcels, and he's kind of consolidated into owning estates only. He's got a really big estate over here, you can see. But yeah, he's only kept one part of this estate intact. He's kind of dissolved the rest for some reason. But Anyway, in terms of valuation, let's kind of take a look at what I have valued him at. A very conservative 13 to 15 million mana. At current price range of about 4 cents a mana token. That's about $500,000. If you were to take 14 million mana times that by 4, 4 times 10, 4 times 5. Is that $500,000? Wait, 14 million. 123 times 0.038 or something. Yeah, 500,000 USD. Okay, so yeah, that's about $500,000 for that portfolio. Obviously, mana is worth a lot less now, but it was when it was worth about 10 cents. Then you could. This was, you know, $1 million plus portfolio. Yeah, it doesn't really look that big of a whale, but he does have decent sized estates. And even though these just look like pixels on a map, when it comes to the real, I was gonna say real world, but it's a virtual world. When it comes to checking out Decentraland space and to see how it actually fits in, like this area here must be massive. This is like maybe 30 by 20 or something. It's a lot of area, guys. So, you know, he's invested specifically in estates, which I think is a good thing to do. Next up, we have whale number 2. This guy's kind of got... Let's try and find a better picture of his. Whale number 2, I think, is this guy over here. Bit of an interesting case. He's built, like, long roads everywhere. He's got a line of roads over here. Yeah, so this guy... it's kind of got 2 major chunks of land. And a third one up here. And the 2 major chunks of land, this one, I was going to say it's not really worth much because it's in the southwest side. And it's not really touching any roads or anything. But the fact of the matter is that if you have land that is this size, you know, this is a pretty decent sized estate. He's got about 1,000 parcels all up, I believe. Let's double check. He's got, yeah, 1,000 parcels, more than 1,000 parcels all up. So I could say that this size estate of his would probably be about 300 to 400 parcels. This one would probably be about 500 to 600 maybe, or maybe they're both about the same. So let's just say 500, all right, just for argument's sake. Let's just say 400, maybe the one at the top. No, let's just say 500 actually. So let's just say they're both 500 each. Ask yourself, how many estates in Decentraland are there that are this big? Not many, right? 1, 2, there's probably like maybe 10 of this size and above, you know, 200 parcels and above size. There's not that many, so that increases the value of it, even though it's here all the way on the far southwest. If there is a large enough investor who wants to build a series of games or something really big, a really big hotel or whatever he wants to build, if he needs a lot of land, he really doesn't have many to choose from, and if they have a lot of money to spend, then yeah, these lands can be worth a lot of money. So but that aside, I've still priced it very conservatively. I priced this at about 10 to 12,000 mana a parcel, and this one at about 15,000 mana a parcel, which is really cheap. I mean, 10,000 mana is like less than the cheapest land on the market at the moment. Because I wanted to be conservative. So this guy over here, 0xb, what is he worth? Oops, wrong one. 0xb, same thing, about $500,000. Mostly because although he has 2 big estates, not many are connected to roads and they're kind of isolated in their own areas. Whereas the other user that we just checked out before had places in specific points closer to Genesis Plaza. Over here in this pocket, we all know this pocket is really expensive. It is a hot pocket, to be honest. This one, and this one's connected to a district. This one's like, this is way more valuable than this, and we don't really know how to value estates of this size. Maybe we should add about maybe another 20% on that actually. Let's value that a little bit more than the previous one at 600,000 USD. All right, the third one we have in question is this bad boy right here, 0xb09. 0xb09. Which one are you, buddy? 0xb10, 0x14, 0xb09. Here we go. Now this one was really interesting. This one is pretty much one estate size, with a lot of, you know, the majority of his parcels are within the estate. But if you look very closely, you can see that he's bought scattered parcels touching roads pretty much all around the map, which is a very, very smart strategy. I mean, this is a really smart strategy because he has protected himself and diversified his investment just in case, you know, the north side became a lot more valuable than the south side. He's got himself some parcels here connected to roads all across here. Like every 10 parcels, he's bought a land. Just in case any area of these, just in case any of these areas became valuable, the land, you know, the investor made sure that he was covered. And this is more of my strategy when it comes to investing. I kind of scatter it around. You know, I have parcels or investments in, say, top 10, top 20 projects that are going somewhere. And within that, I won't go for the most premium land, but I'll go for different types of land. Like I'll go for smaller estates, I'll go for larger estates, I'll go for ones that are connected to good districts. But I'm not going to be the one that gets the best of the best, because there's usually, I've found there to be a bit of a balance when it comes to ROI or investment returns when it comes to that kind of aspect of investing. Investing in the best of the best, I don't know, like you're competing with a lot of people when you're buying that in the first place. Specifically with Decentraland, it was an auction. So the guy that actually bought the best parcels in Decentraland for 600,000 mana, he ended up selling it for 400, 500,000 mana. And some of the parcels even sold for 200, 300,000 mana. So a lot of them actually ended up losing money. So I don't know what kind of mentality you have as an investor, but personally, I like to diversify it in the sense of on all different aspects within the investment. So this one over here, like this, I'd say a good 800, 900 or so parcels are kind of in this area. One Genesis Plaza is 20 by 20 meters. So one Genesis Plaza holds about 400 parcels. So if you just take this as a measuring tool, 400, another 400 over here. So this is about 1,100 parcels actually connected to each other. Very, very, very unique property. One of a kind. To be honest, this is probably the largest estate I know of within Decentraland. It's actually pretty big. And on top of that, it's connected to a Genesis Plaza, connected to a network of roads. So obviously this one is valued a lot more than the previous ones. I've given it a portfolio valuation of 17 to 20 million mana, about 700,000 USD. I actually think I should have given it a bit more than that. I just don't know what kind of a buffer to put on large estates because we rarely see them sell, right? There's not much data I can go off, like single parcels, estates of size, say 4 or 10 or 16 or even 20, we've seen them sell. But estates that are as large as 1,000 or even 500 and above, rarely do we see them sell. So my question is, like, if I were to put a higher value on that, then it would just be speculation. It's not backed off any previous sale data. That's why I hesitate to give it more value. But just for giving it more value, let's just give it a bit more value because, you know, it's a rare estate. There's scarcity within this specific portfolio. So this estate being, say, 1,200 or so lands large or larger. Let's give it a bit more of a valuation. Let's kind of go, I gave it 700,000 US dollars. I'd say it's closer to about 800,000, maybe even $1 million. Again, like we're sitting at 4 cents a mana. Like if this was 10 cents a mana, this would be like $2 to $3 million portfolio. All right, so now we have the last one, which is an absolute mammoth of a wallet. Who are these guys that own these wallets? Like none of them have actually appeared within Decentraland. They may be really large investors, meaning corporations. We know that DCG Group are invested heavily within Decentraland, which is Barry Silbert and his group. And we also know that they own 1% of Bitcoin. I read that somewhere. Pretty sure that's true. Let's verify. DCG 1% of Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure there was a bit of an article that came out. Grayscale, yeah. Grayscale owns 1% of all Bitcoin, which is DCG Group. Okay, that they're all kind of interconnected. Now, 1% of Bitcoin, just do the math on that, guys. Currently, what's Bitcoin worth at the moment? I would say like, what is it, 60 to 70 billion? What is it now? $66 billion. Now 1% of that is $660 million, guys. It's ridiculous if you think about it. So, I mean, they're large scale investors. Is this their wallet or not? I don't know 100%, but it makes sense that one of these is, because we know they're heavily invested in Mana, heavily invested in Decentraland. I mean, I've seen his portfolio breakdown on TV, and he's got a decent amount within Decentraland. So, that being said, 3,600 Mana. Let's kind of check out what it looks like. Is that the one here? Is this it here? 1414. Yep, 1463. Okay, so this one right here. It seems like this estate is even larger than this one. Whoa. Okay, so maybe this is actually even 2,000 parcels. Looks pretty big to me, but seems like these guys have invested in estates all around the map. Again, a smart, wise decision. They've got, the north side. They're well covered on the north, the east, and the south. They don't have much over here, and even central, they've got quite a lot of land. As corporations, I feel more comfortable knowing that there are larger investors at play that have large pieces of land. And if they're cooperative and they all want to build as well, it's good to see that none of this land is for sale, meaning that they have plans to build. And if they have plans to build, it's good to see that this much land is with people that have the capacity to build, and hopefully the money too. Like if DCG Group own any of these, then you better believe that they're gonna fund it. Like, they also opened a kind of Metaverse Holdings, I think it is, just specifically a branch of theirs that they created specifically to invest in Decentraland projects. So it makes sense to me that what they might do is onboard developers that they may fund and have a bit of a seed funding round, and then kind of put them in Decentraland somewhere. So like that makes sense to me as a large scale investor. All right, so that's that. We went through quite a lot of land. I think there may be some more whales within Decentraland that I may have missed. Like the guys that own these large roads, I think this guy's got quite a lot of land as well, actually. 31 estates, 11, 380, that's 180, 120, 130, 150, 250, probably 350, about 400, 500 over here. So there's like kind of baby whales out there as well that own a lot of land everywhere. And there was a really good map before that I found that have that kind of show a breakdown of everyone that's invested, and it kind of goes through the whole map of Decentraland, color coding each person's wallet. But the bottom line is that there are definitely some large whales at play, and if you sum how much land they have collaboratively, 1,400 plus 1,000, 2,400, 3,000, and DCG Group, which we kind of clicked out of, 6,600 I think there was. So let's just say 7,000 land amongst the whales. And I think Decentraland collectively is about 45,000 private lands, right? All of Decentraland. So if all of Decentraland is 45,000 and the large 4 or 5 whales own about 7,000 lands of that, that's a little bit over 10%. It's not that much. I mean, it's not like 20 to 30% of Decentraland is owned by a single person. It's kind of a good thing because ownership is spread so much within Decentraland. And personally, I think it's going to be a good thing. So that's just a quick video, guys. Hoping that when the builder does come out, what I want to do is I want to go through different sizes of Decentraland lands, like what they actually look like what one land looks like, what 4-piece land looks like, what a 16-piece land looks like, so that we can get a better gauge as to what to invest in. I don't really want to invest in anything that isn't kind of appealing to corporations and businesses that want to set up in Decentraland. That's why if you look at my portfolio, this is just one of my wallets. I've got another wallet somewhere that has a bit more estates as well. But if you look at my investment portfolio, you can see that I've invested in some estates, specifically estates. This one over here, this one over here, This one over here, large. I'm trying to invest in a lot of little 2x2s as well, just because I reckon 2x2s are really big estates. Like 4-piece lands are pretty good. This is one of my so I've got this one here. I haven't really made an estate. This is also my wallet over here. So you can see that I've got all these estates over here. I've got a 16-piece, a 12-piece, 9-piece, 4-piece, 24-piece over here. So I specifically wanted to invest in estates because when it comes to building within Decentraland, I want to be selling and renting it out to corporations and businesses, right? So when they come on board, hopefully these are going to be way more appealing than just single parcel lands. But yeah, I think looking at their like how the whales have invested and how the world is going to look like once the builder comes out in terms of sizes, we'll have a better kind of insight as to how to tweak our investment strategy. But for now, guys, that's it. That's all I'm going to go through in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in another video.